Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to a new food4Rhino webinar, first one after summer. We were really busy during the last months, but for sure there will be more webinars during the next ones. And I want to say hello to our good friend Francesc Saya from Asuni. Francesc is the VisualARQ product manager. He's an architect by the University Polytechnic of Catalunya. And today he's going to show us what's new in the third version of VisualARQ. VisualARQ, as all of you know, is the most known and most used BIM software for Rhino, tagged also as flexible BIM for Rhino, because it's very well integrated. And you will see that the tools that VisualARQ offers go very well with the freeform tools in Rhino. And yeah, Francesc, many thanks for being here, for showing us what's new in this third version of VisualARQ. To the audience, please remember that there is a chat on Zoom. Feel free to post your questions here. And then at the end, during the last 15-20 minutes of the webinar, I will pass your questions to Francesc, and maybe also in the middle of the webinar, if it applies. Also, just that you know that this webinar is being recorded, we will upload it later to our YouTube channel. So in case you miss a part of it, don't worry, because you will be able to watch it entirely later. So, Francesc, what are you going to show us today?
Hello, Carlos. Thank you very much. Today we'll see the new features of VisualARQ 3. Okay. So I assume that most of you know VisualARQ, are familiar with the program. So I don't know if you have an experience with previous versions, but you will see some of the new improvements, how much it has improved the new version of VisualARQ after several years of development. So, well, as you may know, VisualARQ helps users to deliver and produce BIM models in Rhino. Okay. Also, it helps users to produce 2D drawings in Rhino, everything that has to do with the project documentation, also quantity takeoffs. And finally, it helps users to exchange Rhino models with other programs in the AEC industry through IFC. Okay. In addition, well, VisualARQ integrates natively with Grasshopper, so you can create dynamic blocks driven by Grasshopper definitions, or you have all the VisualARQ objects and features available directly in the Grasshopper interface. And for that reason, we say that VisualARQ provides a flexible BIM solution. Okay, so there is Rhino for all the freeform shapes and freedom for modeling. You have VisualARQ for the BIM technology. And finally, you have Grasshopper for automatic tasks, automatic designs, and the combination of these tools well, provides a flexible BIM solution for Rhino. Okay, so based on these three concepts, I mean the 3D modeling features, the 2D documentation features, and the IFC, I'm gonna show some of the new features in VisualARQ 3. Okay. By the way, VisualARQ 3 is already available to download. There is a 90 trial day version available. Licenses are like Rhino; they are permanent. They don't expire. There are educational and lab license available as well. And development is based on users' feedback. So VisualARQ 3 actually collects over 1,000 requests or votes or maybe book fixes from users. So it's a big improvement. So let's see some of these features in action. Okay, we have here a model. And completely created with VisualARQ, but we can also see here some Rhino surface, some extrusions, and so on. So first of all, I would like to explain the new features in the level manager. Okay, so as you may know, the level manager lets you work at different levels. Okay, it has some levels at specific elevations. We have added this column from where you can see the height of the level now, and you can also change the level elevation by typing the new height. And well, now let's say it's easier to show and hide levels because you can hide levels individually, okay, and levels that are not consecutive. So we can hide, for example, floor 1 and floor -1 in that model. Okay. So I'm gonna show everything back again with this context menu that shows some additional options. But the most important new feature in the level manager is the option to create, to assign a boundary to a building. Okay, so you can see this icon next to the building. I'm gonna draw it from the top view, and when we click here, we can draw a rectangle that will define the building boundary. Okay, there is also the option to define this boundary from a curve, or if there is some boundary assigned, we can click on None to remove it. Okay, so basically we define the area for our building boundary, and when this is done, you can see here that this boundary is represented with this dotted line. I mean, if you click outside, it disappears. If you click on the building, you can see it. And as soon as a building has a boundary, there is this environment with some option to be hidden. That means that all the area beyond that boundary can be hidden just to visualize or work with the volume or the geometry inside this boundary. All right. Well, at the same time, if we select or hide a level, for example, there is also the option here to isolate levels. So only the geometry of that level, but also considering the building's boundary will be displayed. Okay. Now we can do right click to show everything back again. Now imagine a situation where we have more than one building. So we can create new buildings from this icon. Each building can be in a specific level. Okay, that means that we can have this level at 1 meter. Okay. Also, we can visualize these. All the levels contained in a building have the elevation in relation to the building's elevation. But now we can see this elevation in relation to the building's elevation or to the global coordinates. And we can toggle this option from here. Okay, now it's global, and if we unclick, it's related to the building. But sorry, the other way around. Okay, now it's related to the global coordinates. If we click here, it's related to the building. And well, we can add maybe another building, and imagine that we have another construction over this area. So I'm gonna assign a new boundary for that zone, and we will assign also a new boundary for that other part, imagining that there is another construction next to the main building here. So we have 3 buildings right now with a boundary assigned to each one of them. That means that now we can hide each one of these buildings, and then it will hide the area inside the building. Okay. We can show everything back again. And of course, if we hide the environment, all the area surrounding this building's boundary will hide. All right. Or we can just now isolate buildings. You have more than one. So we can select the main building, isolate it. So the rest of the model will hide. Okay, I'm gonna show everything back again. I'm gonna delete these buildings. I don't need them anymore. And let's see some of the other new features in the level manager. We have added here a level of states. So imagine that you want to show, you want to isolate floor 0, okay, and you want to restart it quickly just by saving these level states. So from this icon, we can open this level states manager. We can add here a new level state, call this ground floor or floor 0 isolated. Actually, I had already one that did the same, but anyway, we can add a new one. And if we close this, and for any reasons we show more buildings or more levels, we can just come here, select that level states, and restart it to the model. Okay, so it's a quick way to define level of states. Okay, I'm gonna show everything back again now. All right. So let's take a look at some of the other features in the level manager. Let's show the model from the top viewport. And some features that were available already in a previous version of VisualARQ was to set a specific level to that view. Now, since this building has a boundary, this tool will zoom to the plan view according to the building boundary. So now this option is available from this icon, floor plan. We have an option here to set the view to top and also activate the cut plane from the selected level. And this tool here does the same thing, but it changes the view to hidden display and also makes the zoom according to the building's boundary. Okay, so basically this level is zoomed according to this building boundary. Now we can see that the view has switched to a hidden display mode. Remember that thanks to this display mode, we can print this view to vector output, okay, to have a good quality to the drawing as a PDF or printing result. And well, also from the level manager, we can display the model in a reflected plan view. Okay, as you may know, this is a new technology in Rhino 8, but we haven't integrated this technology in the VisualARQ Levels Manager. So from this icon, we can select a level and set a sailing plan. So when we do so, also the zoom changes according to the building's boundary, but now what we are seeing the floor displayed from the cut plane of this floor looking upwards. That's why we can see some spotlights here at the ceiling of the level. Okay. Well, in this case, we just put this back to the current floor and see the model normally. Okay. Well, just another feature in the level manager is the option to synchronize the level states in all viewports. So right now, I'm seeing the plan view in the top level. I'm seeing the full model in the perspective and also the full model in elevation. If I click in that view and click on this icon, all the levels will switch to well, the representation I've got here. Okay, if I click now here and I show everything, so all the buildings, the full building will be displayed in all views. Okay, so that's a good way to synchronize all the level states in all viewports. All right, let's move forward and show some of the new features in the section manager. Basically, now it's easier to identify the sections listed here in the model. So we have 4 section lines here. If I select them from here, we can see that they highlight in the model. Okay, so it's easier to identify which section line corresponds to the lines in the model. And in the same way, if we select a section line here in the model, they also highlight in the section manager. So it's also easier to say, okay, I want to show the model in section from the section line. So I select it. And besides the name that we have given to it, it's easier to identify them in the section manager. Okay, now let's move to the top viewport because I want to show you one of the main new features, which is the option to work with guides. Okay, as you may know, guides well, is a tool that helps you align objects to these auxiliary lines. They are mostly used for structural designs where you need to align columns or walls accordingly. These guides can be created as individual elements. Okay, they are automatically labeled. Okay, if I create now a new guide, it will follow, the nomenclature, but we can also insert them as a grid. So under the guide toolbar, we have this option, guide grid. And okay, here on the command line, you can see the configuration of this grid. So we define the number of rows, the number of columns, the nomenclature in the X axis, and we create automatically a guide grid. Okay. The advantage of this grid is that when we draw objects, for example, we draw some walls here, and we snap on these walls. Okay, these objects get attached to the grid. So if I move now this grid, these walls will be stretched or will move accordingly. And every object that I draw here, no matter if it's a VisualARQ wall or also maybe a rectangle, okay, or a polysurface, all right, they will snap to that grid. Okay, so any object in the model snap to snap to grids. Okay, I'm gonna delete this by now because I have already some existing grids here. And for example, I want to show, I'm gonna do double click here to activate the cut plane on that level. And here we have already existing walls. Again, as long as the objects are touching this guide, when I move it, so the objects will follow and update their position. You can prevent this from happening if you select the objects that you want to, they are actually linked to that guide or touching the guide. And if you want to prevent them from moving when you move a guide, you can go to the properties of these objects. And then we have this constraints option here that lets you unlink them to guides. So if you check this option, now when we move this guide, now they won't move anymore. By the way, also, I forgot to mention that objects can link to levels. And this is also a new feature in VisualARQ 3. So in the level manager, we can see here this new column for constraints. That means that when we activate that constraints icon next to a level, and we change the elevation of the level, for example, I want to move now the elevation of floor 1, and I want to change that by 4.2. Now, all the objects sitting on the level or that they are ending on the level will update their position, and they will be adjusted to the new levels elevation. Okay, depending on the amount of geometry, this will take more or less time to update, but this will save you from moving it manually if that option was not available. Okay, yeah, we may see some object that maybe they were not attached to the level from the upward, so from the upper part, so we may need to adjust the height in these cases. But could be a quick way to apply changes if you need to update the position of the objects. Okay, if you don't want any object to move by mistake when you change the elevation, so it's simply uncheck this icon and the objects won't move. Okay, going back to the guides, they are displayed in the current floor elevation. So we are seeing now the guides are displayed on the floor 1. If we change the current construction plane, the current level, they will be displayed on the level. Also, when we select any of them, we can see that they have kind of a plane with extension arrow. This is actually the range of the guide. And when we see a guide perpendicularly from the elevation views, we see them also with this line and a label at the top. Okay, so for example, this one has a higher range. So later on, we can go to we can adjust, the position of this label by the extension arrow, or we can go to the properties of this label and define here the top elevation to any other value. Okay. By default, they are placed 4 meters above the elevation of the last level as the top elevation, and 1 meter below the elevation of the inferior level. Okay. All right. So let's continue. And now let's take a look at the features related to 3D model. Okay. So far we have discussed, level manager, section manager, or the guides as some navigation tools or tools that help us in the modeling process. But now let's take a look at the 3D model itself. And we can start by windows. I'm gonna make this wall a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm gonna define the height of it just to 3 meters. And same for this one. Now we can see already that we have here a couple of windows, okay, anchored in that slab. Okay, this is actually a slab object. So now it's possible to insert doors and windows in roofs and slabs. Okay, in this case, this is a window driven by a Grasshopper style. It's a window created with a Grasshopper definition. And basically, if I move it, you will see that the opening updates inside the slab. How can you do that? So now, if we explore the features of the window styles, and the same thing applies to doors. For example, let's take a look at the fixed to style, for example. We can see here under this host tab, the valid host types. In this case, we can only insert this kind of window into walls or curtain walls. But now we can uncheck these options and select slabs instead. That means that if I want to insert now this window style into the model, this was the fixed to, it will only recognize slabs as the host object where it can be inserted to. Okay. Later on, we can select the window, go here, and maybe change the alignment to exterior. Okay. All right. More features about openings. Maybe we can take a look at this door. This is like a regular door, okay, created with the native features in VisualARQ. We have added a handle component, as you can see here. There are different handle types. So, well, you can explore that if we check the features of this object. So I'm going to open the styles dialog for this object and right-click on this icon. And, well, we can see here the components of this door style, that there is a frame, there is a leaf, and inside this leaf, there is a handle. Okay, there are actually two handles, one for each side of the leaf. Okay, this corresponds to the handle in the other side. And, well, there are different features for this handle, like lever or embedded, okay, different shades for the escutcheon. So, well, you can play a little bit with these features to have different possibilities for a handle component, okay? And maybe another important feature here is that you can now control the leaf width more accurately according to if you want to have them as a fixed dimension, as a percentage, or they want to be auto. You want them to be auto dimension. So, for example, in this case, the second leaf, the one with the glass, is taking a fixed dimension of 40 centimeters, and the other one absorbs the rest of the width with this auto option. Okay, that means that okay, I'm gonna click OK now. That means that when I select this door and I change the width of the profile, for example, let's say that this is 1.2, this dimension of the leaf with the glass will keep being 40 centimeters, and the other one will change to match with this width. Okay. All right. Let's see more about features in 3D objects. Also, now there is a big improvement in the way VisualARQ calculates intersections between objects. I may show this model in section to show you better that. And well, now VisualARQ can calculate intersections of slabs with slabs, slabs with walls, stairs with the slabs, walls with the stairs. So you can see here some examples in this model. Here we can see a stair that well, intersects automatically with this slab. Basically, as long as they have the same section attributes, the intersection line just disappears. Okay. Same happens when walls and slabs with the same section attributes intersect, or walls with a slab of the stair with the same section attributes. Okay, so thanks to that, we can produce a more clean section views of the model. Also, when walls and slabs intersect, the function of their layers matters, because well, in this case, this is a slab with multiple layers, where we have a core slab layer at the bottom and normal slab layers at the top. And well, core layers will have priority over normal layers. That's why these normal layers in the upper part are trimmed by the wall layer. Okay. In this case, the intersection line hides because well, it's the same hatch pattern. Maybe we can take a look at this slab style just to double check this. And actually, this is a new feature. Now, slabs can have core or normal layers. If we check that slab layer under construction. So basically, like wall layers had. Okay. And the other slab layers are, in this case, normal. Okay. Also, we can here comment about the section attributes. I mean, as you may know, Rhino 8 now has section styles. You can assign, well, hatch patterns and language to the objects when they are displayed in section. That's something that was available already in VisualARQ. So now in VisualARQ 3, we have integrated that feature with Rhino section styles. And actually, VisualARQ uses Rhino section styles. So for example, in this case, this main layer, if we check the attributes, is taken the section styles by layer. So now that's a new feature that was not possible before. Section styles can be assigned by layer. Okay. But well, I would like to mention some detail here. That is when I mean, we can change that for that other layer. Well, if you want to change to edit these layers by object, in this case, we can select here custom. Okay, so we have the same features as Rhino section styles. We can change the well, the boundary color, scale, but here we have a print width, and this is something that is not available in Rhino section styles. So actually, if you want to have control of the print width, not for display, which is what Rhino has, but for printing purposes, the only option is to change that from this value here. Okay. All right. So, well, in this case, these are the layers taking the section styles by layer, and I have this layer in that layer. So I'm gonna cancel. I'm gonna. Okay, just a second. And now I'm gonna check for that slab layers. Okay, as you can see here, we have the some custom section styles assigned. Dialog opens, here it is. And well, I mean, only that as soon as we change any detail of this pattern, okay, we will see the intersection with a wall layer. And that's what I wanted to show you actually. Okay, so I'm gonna change the scale of this pattern to a smaller value. I click OK. And now I may need to update this object. It will take the new attributes assigned to that layer, because that slab layer is taking the section attributes by layer. Okay, and in that case, we can see the intersection line. All right, let's move on. I'm gonna check now the section. And let's see some of the new features related to creating visual objects from Grasshopper styles. As you may know, these are objects driven by Grasshopper definitions. In the VisualARQ templates, we have added a few new objects related to furniture and element styles. I mean, if you open a new document from a VisualARQ template, you can explore any of these objects available. So there are new kitchen cabinets. Okay. Well, you have more shelving systems. Well, you can just explore all these options. Okay. Same for elements. There are some new elements available also for kitchen furniture, or sink, in this case, toilet furniture. Okay, there are, well, different elements with plenty of parameters to to change the appearance. Okay, can provide a quick way to insert these elements and have a nice representation of these elements in plumbing. Okay. All right. I'm going to cancel this. But again, all these objects that I have shown are driven by Grasshopper definitions. But now it is possible also to create walls and curtain walls from Grasshopper styles. And I'm going to show you an example of that for a wall. Okay. So I'm going to open Grasshopper. I'm going to open a definition that generates a open work frame brick wall. So I'm going to draw here a rectangle, just a curve to give that that wall preview. I mean, this Grasshopper definition has these inputs. So on one hand, we need a path curve that will be used for the feature wall to know, its path. So I'm gonna set that curve. Okay, we can see the preview of this of the wall that I want to create. Of course, this wall is not possible to be done with the native parameters. Okay, we cannot create 3D elements in the wall. And we have here some features to change the alignment, to change the height, thickness. Okay, that's too much. Well, the dimensions of the brick, if the shape is circular or rectangular. Basically, I decided which parameters I wanted to define in this object. Okay, so we have some inputs on one hand. Also notice that we have this parameter called height. This will be important later on to link that this parameter to the real height property of walls. Okay. And at the end of this definition, I have the outputs. And I have 3 of them. One is, well, the final geometry for that wall. Okay. So I have collected this into a component that I've called the bricks. I have another one for the volume of this wall. Okay. So this is like I've called this geometry preview. And this will be the geometry used for the display of this object when I insert it. And that's important because depending on the complexity of the Grasshopper definitions, when you insert a visual object driven by a Grasshopper style, it may be slow, because the Grasshopper is being evaluated. I mean, the definition is being evaluated while it's being inserted. So providing a new volume, an easy one, instead of the real geometry, will make the insertion of this object faster in the model, or also if you drag it or input it in the model. Okay, so basically have created this geometry just for the preview of that object. And also here, this is a new feature also in VisualARQ 3. We can have read-only output parameters. So this is an integer object that calculates the number of bricks that we have in this wall. Okay, of course, we cannot connect it with anything else. It must be also an ending component, and we can name it with a specific name so we can identify it easily, especially if you have several of these output parameters. So whatever is the the values that you want to calculate, you can have it as output parameter, and this value will be displayed in VisualARQ properties afterwards. But first, let's save this definition. I'm gonna close Grasshopper, and let's create a new wall style. Okay, so go to the wall styles dialog. Well, we can create new. Now we have this option available, create a wall from a Grasshopper style. We need to search for that Grasshopper definition. It's here. And well, as any other Grasshopper style, we define the name, the definition units, and here we have a couple of linked properties. One is the path curve, so that's also required for the wall to know, the path, and later on be able to insert doors and windows in it. And also, it's from the other parameters, we need to assign which one will perform the wall height. And this is also important because we will be able to calculate joints when walls created this way intersect each other. Okay. We click next, and now we see the two geometry outputs. Remember that one was used for the preview. So this one will be unchecked from the model and from the plan representation. Okay, so actually all the objects, all the geometry outputs can be also assigned to a model, to the plan, or both representations. And I will leave only this for the preview. And the bricks will be unchecked from the preview, so they are not calculated while I am inserting this object. I click next. I can see here the list of all the parameters. I can decide which ones are editable by object, by style, or they are hidden from the dialogues. I mean, I can just select them all and set them editable by object. And here we have this output parameter that also can be hidden, but I will make it visible by object, so I will be able to see for different walls of this style the amount of bricks I have for each one of them. Okay, I click finish. I click OK. And now I can insert that wall in my model. I run the wall command. I'm going to select this style. Let me find it. Okay, here it is. And okay, just notice that now we are just seeing, the preview of this object. Okay, we just see that that volume. But once the wall is inserted, we see the final result. Now we can select that object. We can go to the properties of the wall, and we can change, for example, the height. We can change any detail, and you will see that the brick count, which is that calculated parameter, updates with any change. Okay, we can also change anything that we decided was editable by object. Okay, so let's move on. Let's take a look at some of the documentation features now. Okay, I will start with the new feature to control the profiles. Okay, I mean, in VisualARQ, it was possible to create a profile from a curve and use that profile to create, doors and windows with custom shapes, or you could use these profiles for beams, columns, and so on. But now it's easier to have a list or control of all these custom profiles from a profile manager. And you can open that doing right-click on this icon. Right now, I have one profile in this document that's used for this chimney, which is actually a column. But we can create new ones. So I'm going to draw a new profile from the top view. I will just define a boundary as we did before. Okay, I'm going to set the plan view to the ground floor as we did before. And maybe I can draw, elliptical profile that can be used for this post, for this railing post. Okay, so I can either create this profile from command, from the typical command, or I can go to the profile manager, create a new profile. By default, a rectangular one is created. I can call this ellipse. And I can click here to change the geometry. So now I can assign this curve. Okay, and I can also decide which object types this profile can be used for. So, I mean, this is too small. It doesn't make sense to assign it to windows or doors. And I can leave it available for beams, columns, railings, or curtain walls. And actually, these are the components of curtain walls or railings. Okay. If I click now OK, I can edit this railing style and select this baluster component. And now go to profile and select this ellipse. Okay. So the advantage of this profile manager is that you can do many things that were not possible before, such as change the name of this profile, extract the profile to apply changes on the profile and assign it again. I mean, we can extract that curve. Okay, if we didn't have this could have created before, and also assign these filters for the objects. Okay. All right. Now let's see some of the new features related to tags. Well, tags now can be inserted by an insert point. I mean, I'm gonna delete this too and insert them from scratch. I think that was the style that I had before. Also, the tag contents can be defined by a style. So I'm gonna show you how it works. And if we select now this point option in the command line, we can select, the object and click here to know exactly the tag. I can insert that object and have full control of the position of the tag. Okay. And let's take a look at the tag content. So I'm gonna do right click to open the list of tags. In this case, we have this object, and under the label, we have this syntax where, well, from the reference element, we are displaying the width and in this case, the height. Okay. In this case, this tag is using a block, okay, for the geometry. But I mean, we can create as many tags as you like and link any properties of the objects that you want. Okay. So just by selecting now the tag, we can change the information displayed by, I don't know, for example, showing the style and tag in value. Okay. So just for ending this introduction to the new features of VisualARQ 3, I would like to show also some of the most important new features, which is the option to report the objects in a table report panel. Okay. So this command opens now a panel from where we can generate a list of all the objects information in the model. You'll notice that in VisualARQ templates, there is already some styles for tables. So we can create a new table and select any of these styles. Just notice here that we have the option to create a dynamic table. That means that all the new objects that meet the conditions of that table style will be included in that list automatically, or we can make a manual selection of the items displayed in the table, okay, as it used to work before. Well, I'm going to use this option right now, and I'm going to show a table for the walls in that model. I click OK. And, well, we can see here the list of walls. In this case, they are grouped by a style, but by selecting each row, the corresponding walls will be highlighted in the model. Okay. We can also double click here to zoom in or to select that object. Okay. And well, if we do right click, we can also select objects, clear selection, zoom to objects. So we have several options available. Also, we can apply filters to this table from this icon over here. By the way, when we have this icon highlighted, that means that it is a dynamic table. If we uncheck this will become well, a normal table with the existing walls included. That means that if we create a new wall, it won't be included here. When we have the table being not dynamic, we can exclude items from it. Okay, we can exclude these objects from here. Okay, and we won't see this object anymore. As soon as we make this dynamic, VisualARQ will read all the walls in that model and will add them to the table automatically. Okay. So we have this option to show filters in the table, and we can filter the objects by building or level, by style, and by layer. So for example, if we don't want to see the interior 313 millimeters in the table, we can hide them from here. Or if we want to see only the walls in the floor 0, we can just hide the other levels. And well, when we click apply, this table will report will filter the object only in that level. Okay. Well, we can be aware that some filters are applied because this icon will highlight when we have applied any changes. And of course, we can create new table styles. For example, I can create a new table style for showing the windows in this model. I mean, we have already a table style for showing openings. Okay, we can edit that at any time. Just notice that here under type, we can see well, all the options, the parameters that it refers to. If we go to the root of the style, we can select the object types, these effects. So we can include poly surfaces, extrusions, blocks. So we can list anything that we have in the model. Okay. But now let's create quickly a new table style for Windows. So we click this button and we follow this wizard. Select next. Of course, I need to select the window object type. And I will basically list the style of the window and the area. Okay. When we select the object, the name updates automatically. So click next. We can group also the windows by a style, as we did for walls, or we could also show the list of windows individually. In this case, I will select to group them by the style property field. And now, if we want to show the totals of a column, which is also a new feature in VisualARQ 3, I mean, for this table style, we already had totals for the length, area, and volume for these fields. If we want to do the same for that area, we need to select the property field. And under total, we can show the sum, the average, or the count. We show the sum, click OK. And now I can add a new table. I will show windows and see the list of windows here. Okay, and again, we can select them from the table. And also we can apply some changes in these windows directly from the table. So we are talking about bidirectional table because we can zoom in here and select this style and change it by any other. Okay. Also specifically for tags or for I mean, there are some values, for example, the area that cannot be changed. Obviously, this is a calculated one. But some other properties like the style, the tag, the opening site, or names, this is something that we can edit directly from the table report panel. Well, of course, these tables can be exported to Excel. I mean, we just need to click on this icon. We have some format options. Okay. Decimal separator with commas or dots, and finally export that to XML file or CSV. Okay. All right. So just to finish, I would like to show you also one of the most important new features of VisualARQ related to the production of 2D drawings, which is the option to export the drawings to DWG. Okay, as you may know, when we are preparing the page layout, we can add a new detail in here. So we add maybe a detail for this for a specific view, and another one for that view. Okay, so in this case, I'm gonna show the section manager, and I want to show section LA. And in this case, I'm going to show section LB. So we can export that directly to DWG as long as we are using the hidden display mode inside these views. Okay, just to double check, this is hidden display mode, and also this other detail. Okay. In addition, we have some text. We may have some dimensions or annotations created on the page layout. And okay, now I can just export that. I mean, we can export all the page layouts or just a single one. Okay. And okay, we call this webinar VA. And well, we'll get the DVG export options dialog that Rhino generates. Okay, this preview is just to calculate, the result, but it's not what we will get, hopefully. This may take also some time, depending on the amount of detail views that you have in the model, or the amount of, or the level of detail of the geometry you have in that model. Or maybe while this is generating, I can show you an example that I had prepared just to show you how it should look like. So I'm in AutoCAD now. I'm going to open this model. And this is what we should see after exporting the model to DWG file. See if it has finished. Not yet. But basically, we have the same pitch layout in AutoCAD with two, views to the model space. All the geometry in the pitch layout is here as in the paper space, and we have the geometry of the 3D model in Rhino as 2D drawings in the AutoCAD model space, separated, for some distance. If we take a closer look at these curves, at these lines, they preserve the layers existing in Rhino. So if we hide the doors, we'll hide all the objects that are doors. If we hide whatever, columns, okay, we'll see the lines corresponding to columns hidden. Same for walls, doors, and so on. Okay. All right. So, in this case, it's still calculating. Anyway, since I am just about to the end of this presentation, the last thing I wanted to mention today is that related to IFC, is that VisualARQ can read IFC4 files, not only IFC4, but IFC4.3 files. And when you open an IFC file, we need to search it here. I'm just gonna choose IFC4, an example of a Revit model exported as IFC4. We just need to open that file. We'll get this dialog mentioning the size of the file, the format of it, and if you want to import the geometry object or the geometry with information, you click on the import button. And we can see here the model with all the objects. I mean, most of the objects are recognized as visual objects. We have a slab here, we have a window, okay. Also, the information of the levels is recognized here. So you can import IFC files. Right now, the option to export to IFC4 is not available, but we plan to release a new update in a few weeks that will be possible to export also to IFC4. All right, so maybe, Carlos, we have some time for questions. Let me know if there are any.
Yes, sure. Excellent. Thank you for your demo.
By the way, I think that the export just finished it now, so it took more than expected, but it finally was finished. Yeah, let me know if there are any questions.
Sure. Actually, there are many. And if we run out of time, I recommend to the attendees to contact you directly through the VisualARQ forum, right? But let's start from the beginning. It was when you were showing levels. James Churchill asked if you can vertically jog levels. That is, if a mezzanine is slightly higher on one side of the building versus the other, if you can set the same level with different heights and then jog it.
No, I mean, jog it Jogged sections are only available for sections. Okay, you can create jogged section lines. In the case of levels, I mean, you can show different buildings at different levels. Okay, for example, we could have a new building and defined for that in that area. Okay, and then we could display the cut plane, of that building. Okay, I think some wrong intersection was going on here, and maybe if I define a new boundary, I will be more lucky. No, sorry for that. Yeah, I mean, if these errors happens, probably there is some wrong intersection between maybe this this mesh and the existing results. But I mean, if you can achieve, to see the model in different jogged sections from horizontal sections, if you manage, the geometry in different buildings with different boundaries, and each one shows a different cut plane, basically.
Okay, thanks. Then Marcel Olgendiers, sorry if I pronounce bad your name, asked about the cut plane. If you can, what does the value, for example, 1.40 mean? Luckily, Gianfranco Galagar pointed him to your help, to the help of VisualARQ, where is it explained how the level manager works, and the link is there.
Yeah.
So just visit help.visualarq.com, and there you can find information about all functionalities in VisualARQ. What else? Carlota Alvarez Guzman asks if regarding doors and windows, if the elevation option is always related to the level 0, 0.
Yes, the elevation of doors is always, I mean, there is a property here that shows the elevation, but it's a global elevation. There is no option to define the elevation related to the level. If
Okay,
this is what
it's
she is asking.
well.
It's actually a feature in our roadmap. So in future version, we will have both, two elevations, the one related to global elevation and the one related to the level where that door is inserted.
Okay, nice. Then Marcelo Braccianti asks if there are elements, walls, slabs, style libraries available for download in GH or in VisualARQ format, as well as beamobject.com or similar.
Yeah, I mean, there is in food4Rhino a section where people share objects driven by Grasshopper styles. So you can find some there. I mean, if you go to the VisualARQ website, you will find under download, a link to this section on food4Rhino.
Maybe you can show it.
Yeah, let me open.
Yes, this is more a webinar about what's new in VisualARQ 3. I guess maybe people don't know that there is the VisualARQ Grasshopper styles, right?
Yeah, exactly. Also, any IFC file that you find on the web or any 3D model, that you find out there can be imported into the model, and just you can create a visual object out of it. Okay, because for example, a piece of furniture or an element can be created from a block. So you can expand your library of objects by importing, blocks from the cloud and converting them into furniture element objects. But I mean, regarding VisualARQ Grasshopper styles, yeah, they can be found on food4Rhino. Most of the objects that are not available natively in VisualARQ templates.
Perfect. Then what else? Yeah, James Churchill again. He says he has a model with intersects.
Okay.
A model I have intersects with the wall, and you can see the slab on the exterior wall. This means I have to offset the slab inside the wall.
Yeah, I mean, related to that, I forgot to mention one detail. Basically, we have added now an option to calculate intersections between VisualARQ objects. Okay, if they are not calculated automatically, I mean, I was showing how walls and slabs intersect each other, but I mean, there are some other objects, for example, beams, that don't intersect automatically with walls or columns. Let me isolate these objects a second. and I can show this feature to you. Let me move the Zoom dialog. So in this case, I'm isolating this, this column, beam, and wall. Okay, maybe we'll show you this in a new file. Okay, so I draw, for example, a wall. Can be a piece of wall. And I will insert here a beam. So basically, I want to make the beam intersect with the wall. Okay. So automatically they don't intersect. Okay. So there is kind of a shared volume between these objects, and well, now we have this interference tool that by selecting an object and the object that will interfere with it, now we have the intersection between, the beam and the wall. So yeah, I mean, now they don't share the same volume. So when you generate reports of wall volumes, it will be more accurate. Okay. And if we move these objects, so the intersection is calculated automatically. You can remove this interference with this command. Okay. And recover the two objects so they don't intersect anymore.
Okay. What else? Okay, people ask if there is a plan for a Mac version of VisualARQ.
No, not at this moment.
Not at this moment. Also, people ask if there are any online materials or paid courses available that cover VisualARQ skills from beginner to expert level.
There is a video tutorial available. I mean, if you go to the website, let me just show the website very quickly. I mean, just as commented before, if you go to download, you will find here a link to download more VisualARQ styles. Basically, this is a link to food4Rhino. If you go to the learn page, you can follow this video tutorial to learn the basics of VisualARQ from scratch, from zero to the production of 2D drawings. This tutorial is based on VisualARQ 2, so it doesn't include the new features that we have seen today. But I mean, for understanding the basis of VisualARQ can be already useful. And in addition to that, we are running courses or custom trainings eventually. We may arrange one the following month, but there is no one at this moment. There is no one scheduled so far. But well, just you can check this page and see if there is any course planned, or we can also arrange custom trainings if there are a group of people interested.
Yes, please contact Francesc Saya for custom online or physical training. What else? Because as said, we ran out of time, but there are still some interesting questions like, well, this is when you were working with the Grasshopper definition. James Churchill asks, how does it know which parameter comes into the geometry parameter, such as the brick count? I guess it's in the Grasshopper definition, right?
Yes, I mean, VisualARQ identifies the let me see if I find this. I mean, in this example, VisualARQ identifies in this case, the integers or the numeric values that are not further connected to anything else. Okay, so that's why VisualARQ identifies this one. But if we had this duplicated, okay, and we connected this in here, this one would not be identified, but only this one. Okay. So it needs to be ending geometry, integers or numeric values that are not connected to anything else. And same for the geometry output parameters.
Okay, what else? Do the area and volume calculations for walls account for openings?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. the volume of walls, take into account the walls, the openings of doors and windows to calculate the area and the volume.
And another question by Marcelo Elginders is what about the exchange between VisualARQ for Rhino 7 and VisualARQ for Rhino 8?
Okay.
I don't understand the question very well. Does the save as Rhino 7 work, and can Rhino 7 read the created data?
Well, you can save models saved in, you can open models saved in Rhino 7 in Rhino 8. Okay. No problem about that. And also save Rhino 8 models in Rhino 7 format. But you need to have the same VisualARQ version in each program. Okay. But if you can also open VisualARQ2 files saved in Rhino 7 in Rhino 8, of course. Okay. When this happens, VisualARQ will ask you to regenerate the VisualARQ objects, because some of them may have some changes, like all these intersections that didn't exist in VisualARQ2. But yeah, there is no problem in opening former VisualARQ versions files in Rhino 7 or Rhino 8 models. But what it is not possible is to open in VisualARQ2 files saved in VisualARQ3.
Okay, what else? Okay, Barcello mentions he has some problems with edit visualization element styles by Grasshopper definitions. If you know about this issue, I think it's difficult to know without seeing the file, right? For this more type of questions, I think it's better to contact Frances directly, because probably he needs to check the file. He can do a team Weaver with you, right?
Yeah, exactly. VisualARQ object driven by Grasshopper styles may be very complex, may have a long list of parameters. And yeah, if you're not the creator of this style, sometimes it may not be easy to identify which parameter edits what,
That's difficult
So,
to sort without looking at the file or at the definition. In these cases, I recommend to contact Frances directly. Same as well, this one is a bit tricky. Stefano Cianovello asks if the DBG files are exported clean, or better, cleaner the ones exported from BIM solutions, competitors like Revit and ArchiCAD, because he says that DBGs from these softwares are unusable from his point of view. So if a model created clean in Rhino and VisualARQ, when you export it as DBWG, it's clean. I guess so, right? It always depends from the...
Yeah, there are some lines that may not be continuous as one may expect. When you see a line in projection, it could be the sum of many lines that, are one behind the other. So you may expect to have one single line here and not big, segments. But this is something that I encourage you to try it out and send us your feedback if it works as expected or not, or it's clean enough for you, so we can improve this too, in case we can, anything we can do.
And if there is an updated roadmap on the VisualARQ webpage, do you have any wish list there or a roadmap that people can?
Yeah, we'll prepare a new page for a roadmap, because we used to have one on the former website, and most of the features listed there are now available in VisualARQ3. So we have to update this page showing all the new features on our roadmap. So I can mention a few of them. For example, having dimensions linked to objects, handling the model by level of detail, having hatches in projection as attributes for VisualARQ objects. So there are a few of them that you could name. And yeah, we'll update that page with a new roadmap.
Okay, I'm answering. In the meantime, to James that he can download Grasshopper styles on food4Rhino. I put here the link to food4Rhino. Staff Morris claims that when he plays with VisualARQ, the walls move very, very slow every time he tries to change something.
Yeah,
After I put the floors and the stars and guides. And also, where did the wall split go?
The wall split command, I mean, we removed the command for walls because it already exists as a generic one. I mean, the wall split command can be used with the generic split command that also
Split
works on.
from Rhino. So the split command in Rhino.
No. I mean, we used to have here under the wall commands as one specifically to split walls into two. Okay. And now we removed it from here because it's already available in this toolbar. So this split command works for VisualARQ walls, for railings, for slabs, curtain walls. Okay.
But it's not the split command you find in Rhino.
And actually, this split command doesn't work on VisualARQ objects.
Okay,
that's why VisualARQ has its.
That's what I was guessing.
And related to that complaint about slow performance, because now walls are intersecting with the slabs, and sometimes that generates some calculations that didn't happen before. We are currently studying some ways to improve that. So we expect that in the next version we will provide a better version with working better with in terms of performance and intersections. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, James was asking, and then I then understand it correctly. Sorry, if there is a place to download some of the Grasshopper styles that are created, not the VisualARQ style files.
Yeah, that's true. In food4Rhino you get the VisualARQ style, so it's a .val file that you can go from here, VisualARQ styles, and import. It's not the Grasshopper definition. I mean, you can find Grasshopper definitions on food4Rhino from creating, parametric furniture or elements, and you can adapt them to be used as a VisualARQ object style. It's true. On food4Rhino, you will only find the prepared styles, to be imported and be used in VisualARQ, because the idea of these Grasshopper styles is that someone who doesn't know Grasshopper can use objects driven by Grasshopper definition.
Yeah, but James, in this case, would like to take a look at these Grasshopper files in order to learn how VisualARQ styles are created. Maybe you could post
that's
some...
not possible. That's not possible right now. In future version, we will provide an option to download the Grasshopper file from a VisualARQ style.
Okay. Or maybe you can do a small tutorial to show how you create it. But I guess it's already documented, right?
Yeah, I mean, and there are tutorials on the web to generate, new Grasshopper styles for every object type, and there you can find examples of the Grasshopper definitions. I mean, you can download the Grasshopper file.
This is what James was asking for.
Yeah,
probably.
Exactly. Sorry. So there are a few examples for each object type that are available on the web.
Perfect. And I'm going to, because we are already 50 minutes more time than expected, but as the questions are so interesting, I don't want to stop here. Specific hardware about VisualARQ is the same as Rhino. You can find it also on the Rhino website. Just go to support section, system requirements. About glass facades, do you have anything to say? Because Francie would like you to show the capabilities, but I think it's too late now.
Yeah, just to mention that right now you can create also curtain walls from surfaces. That's also a new feature that I didn't have time to show today. That's an option to explore. And curtain walls are also parametric objects with many different ways to generate the cells and divisions. So you can explore these objects in case that they are useful.
Perfect. Also, Kevin Moreno. Hello, Kevin. We met recently. Says great plugin and new version. Congrats. And yeah, if the Excel tables exported are connected and updatable, so if they are dynamic, I guess.
No. I mean, you can. I mean, you overwrite a file that you have exported from a table, and if you have that file linked in an Excel, I mean, if you you overwrite with the same name, it will update the content as you export it again. That's it.
Okay. And okay. Will VisualARQ 3 allow IFC space to be real 3D objects, not only annotations?
I would swear that they are 3D objects already. I mean, spaces are identified as spaces objects in VisualARQ, and they have a volume in VisualARQ. So they should be identified as 3D objects as well. Surface with a label, but also with a 3D representation that shows the volume of them.
Okay. And how is it the integration with Speckle? Anything special? Anything planned?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't personally not explored that integration. I know that some users tried, and well, everything is a matter to through Grasshopper, they construct the visual objects and use that information to connect it to Speckle to send a desired data. So, I mean, I encourage you to try it out and let me know the results or if the workflow is good enough or not.
Okay, let's talk to a Speckle colleagues, right?
Yes.
One from Greg Bishop. For schedules, can elements such as walls, windows, and doors be sorted by level?
Not right now, because the level as a property, there is no property that tells you which level an object it is. Okay, you could create that as a custom parameter. You know that in VisualARQ you can create custom parameters and create one that is called level and just indicate which object in which level it is. I mean, this process can be automated with Grasshopper. So we got to create here a new parameter called level. Okay. By the way, I didn't mention that, but now custom parameters can get some filters. Can have also filters by object types or layers. Okay. But yeah, once you have this custom parameter created, you can tell an object in which level goes. Okay, so here you can say ground floor, for example, and then list that parameter in a table. And then, of course, one of the criteria is to sort the table from that parameter. Okay. It requires some manual work, but with a Grasshopper definition, it's easier to calculate all the levels in that model, assign the values to objects, and finally take this information in the geometry so you can report that in tables.
Perfect. And yeah, unfortunately, we need to leave it here because it's already 20 minutes after the time we expected the workshop to be from 4 to 5 p.m. But again, thanks to all attendees. I suggest you, if there were any questions not answered here, to contact directly Frances Saya through his email or through the Asunis website, or maybe we need to do a second part of this webinar just for questions, right?
There are many things that could be explained more.
Yeah, because it's amazing how many questions there are and how many suggestions, and also very nice feedback. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Frances. I will upload this, the recorded session of the webinar to our YouTube channel, and see you soon and have a nice day.
All right. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Bye.